Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to bring you the rest of my Week 10 NFL picks and predictions. Got three games on tap for you in this video to go along with the two I did yesterday for five total this Sunday, and we also did the Thursday night game. So six total for Week 10 of the NFL season. We're going to start it off with the Steelers visiting the Commanders. Commanders 2.5 point favorites in this game. Commanders led by Jaden Daniels, rookie sensation quarterback. He's a runaway favorite to win Rookie of the Year, as he should. And he's helped lead the Commanders to the number three rushing attack in the NFL so far this season. It's Jaden Daniels running. It's Brian Robinson running. It's Austin Eckler running. They're averaging 163 yards rushing per game. Now, it should be noted that Brian Robinson is going to be out for this game. But still, you still got Austin Eckler able to run the football and take that pressure off of Jaden Daniels. What does running do? It helps set up play action. That's what you've been seeing with the Washington Commanders. They're one of the top passing teams in the league in terms of yards per attempt. Been hitting off Terry McLaurin downfield. On the Steelers side, they're led now by Russell Wilson. As you know, first started the season off with Justin Fields. They then shifted over to Russell Wilson. Russ, in my opinion, was washed for the past few years. I thought he was washed when he went to Denver. I didn't understand the hype around that pick or around that trade or acquisition, I should say, because Russ looked washed his last season in Seattle, and I thought he was done for. But I'll give it up to him. His past couple games with Pittsburgh, he's looked not too bad. He's being able to get to spread the ball around, but he does get it to his number one, George Pickens, fairly well. And then Pittsburgh, the real revival in Pittsburgh is the revival of Najee Harris. He has three straight 100-yard rushing games. And if you watched Najee Harris last season, he was pure garbage. I'm just going to call it what it is. He was terrible last season. I don't know what he did in this offseason, but he's a completely different player. And he's about now back to the guy we saw when he first came into the league. So when you're comparing these teams, I talk about the Steelers' running game with Najee Harris. I talk about the Commanders' rushing game, top three in the league. Well, the Commanders are going against the fourth stingiest rush defense in the league in Pittsburgh. I don't think, and without Brian Robinson, I don't think the Commanders are going to find that much running room in this game like they've been able to find in other games. Throwing the football, Terry McLaurin, is having a really good season. Commanders' running game helps set up the pass. The Steelers have allowed number one receivers, which is what Terry McLaurin is, have allowed number one receivers to get 49 yards per game. So they're shutting number ones down. So Terry might not have himself a big game in this one either. So I think the Commanders might find themselves struggling a bit offensively. By the way, there's weather wise, there's supposed to be some light showers in this game. So it might be kind of sloppy there too. That bodes well, I think, for Pittsburgh and their offensive output because Najee Harris, as I said, he's hot right now going against Commanders rush defense that allows 143 yards rushing per game, over 5 yards a carry. Let's say the conditions get kind of sloppy. Najee Harris might have himself a pretty good game in this one, and I think Pittsburgh, more than Washington, can control the game flow, control the clock, control game flow in this game. So in that so saying that, Pittsburgh 2.5 point dog. I understand why Washington's favored. They're at home and they're having a really good season. But for me, I think this is going to be controlled by Pittsburgh's ground attack. And I don't think Washington's offense is going to really get off like that, like you have seen them in previous games. So I like Pittsburgh. I actually think the Steelers can win this game, but go ahead and give me Pittsburgh with the 2.5. Moving on, we have Philly at Dallas. I'm pretty sure when this game was scheduled, this was supposed to be thought of as the game of the week. Not so much anymore. The Cowboys, no Dak Prescott. The Cowboys have had a bunch of injuries this season. They've also weren't the best roster coming into this season to begin with no second receiver, no real running back, and so on. So when you look at the Cowboys Eagles matchup, the first thing that pops out at you is that the Cowboys defense has been absolutely terrible against the run. They allow 147 yards per game. That's 30th in the league. Against the pass, they allow 8.3 yards per attempt. That's 31st, second to last in the league. Right? You can run it against them effectively. You can throw it against them effectively. Micah Parsons, a part of it is injuries. They've had guys out. Micah Parsons supposed to be back for this game. Man, that's not going to make Micah Parsons is probably the best defensive player in the league, but it's not going to make all these issues go away for Dallas. Now they do have Cooper Rush stepping in for Dak Prescott offensively. Cooper Rush has played in the NFL. He's when Dak was hurt before, and he played pretty well. I believe he went 4-1. In fact, his only loss was to Philly in a game that they competed in. But that Cowboys roster was much different than the Cowboys roster he's going to play with today. On Philly's side, offensively, they gain 174 yards rushing per game. Saquon is going off. I said it in the previous video. I mean, I would give Saquon some MVP, consideration. Passing the ball, they gain 8.2 yards per attempt. And keep in mind, Devontae Smith and AJ Brown have missed time this season, so that impacts their stats. So they would probably be much higher this season statistically. And then they've been tough defensively. I mean, they're pretty good against the pass and against the run. They're fifth in the league, only allowing 101 yards rushing per game. And they're playing a Cowboys team that's second to last, 82 yards per game. They have no running back. So when you're looking at this game, what do you see? You see a Cowboys team with a backup quarterback, no running game, one wide receiver, really one credible offensive threat against a Philly defense that's playing outstanding football and have done a pretty good job against number one wideouts this season. So CD might not really have a good game in this one. And then defensively, you're seeing a Cowboys defense that can't really stop the run or the pass. Like I said earlier, Cooper Rush has played in this league and he had a good game against Philly previous when he did play a couple years ago. That was a different Cowboys team. The going's getting tough for Dallas, and if you watch the Cowboys play, when the going gets tough, they get going down the drain. So go ahead and give me Philly. I'm going to lay the 7 in this one. I don't think this is going to be a close game in Dallas. In the final game of this video, I'm going to do the Monday Night Football game. Usually I would wait till Monday night to do this, but I wanted to do it now. So we have the Dolphins visiting the Rams. Rams 1.5 point favorite. That's opened at 2 for the Rams and has gone down to 1.5. That's a little bit of money pouring in there on Miami. When you look at this game, first thing I think about is defensively. Neither team has been that good against the run. Both teams allow 4.4 yards per carry. Kyron Williams for the Rams hasn't had the running back for the Rams hasn't had that big of a season, but this is a game that he should have some success in this one. And then on Miami side, Achan and Mostert, those guys, they should definitely have a good game running the ball against what's been a kind of a soft LA Rams defensive front. Then when I look defensively, the Rams, they allow 8.4 yards per attempt against the pass. That's dead last in the league against Tua and the Dolphins. And when you look at the total Dolphins stats, you can't look at them all because Tua missed a lot of time. But Tua is 7.4 yards per attempt this season, which actually isn't really that strong. But against this Rams defense, he should be able to find some air holes out there and be able to hit some big plays to his wide receiving core. But the big point in this game for me has to do with health. First, on the Dolphins side, is Tyreek playing? They're calling him a true game time decision. This is why I wanted to wait till tomorrow, but I decided not to because it wasn't going to impact my pick one way or another. Is Tyreek playing? They're claiming he's got a legit wrist injury and it's going to be a game time decision. If he doesn't play, that's going to really hurt this Dolphins passing game, as you obviously know. And then the Rams. Man, the Rams are getting healthy at the right time. They got Cooper Kupp back a few weeks ago. They got Puka Nacua back. He's out there on the field making plays when he's not throwing hands, right? But one thing also to note is they got two. Well, actually, let me go back in time for a second. What people might not remember is the Rams had a ton of injuries early on in the season. They were playing with like 4 starters of their offensive line out. Two of those guys are going to be back for this game. So the Rams are getting Cooper Kupp, Puka, O line. All these guys are getting back. So these Rams stats to me would look a lot different if these guys were completely healthy. So because of that reason, because I think the Rams are trending up and I think the Dolphins are trending down, man, give me the Rams at home on Monday Night Football prime time showing with Matt Stafford and co. Laying the 1.5. But anyways, that wraps it up. So that's 3 games I got for you in this video. Like I did yesterday, also have the Bears laying the 6, and I have the Bills laying the 4. So if you like the content, please like, follow, subscribe, all of that. As you're going to see my YouTube handle here in a few seconds. Take care.